Hi everybody, it's Gail from Gail's Bookish Things. Recently I purchased a Lamy Safari 1.1 stub nib and I put it on my Lamy, and I thought it would be good to do a comparison. I actually got this idea from Holy Fire Scribble. She was playing around with comparing TWSBI and Lamy 1.1 stub nibs, and I wanted to do that because I have really grown to love my TWSBI 1.1 nibs. So I wanted to try the Lamy because the Lamy pen has worked very well for me with the broad nib, but I hadn't had any other experience with Lamy. So today I inked it up, switched the nibs, and have a TWSBI and a Lamy both filled with Monteverde pumpkin cake. I was really quite surprised by the results. So let's start by looking at the TWSBI. This is Cosmo Airlight paper, if you're wondering. It's one of my favorites, and it's my go-to paper now. That's another whole story, but that's what I picked for this comparison. So a little bit of printing, a little bit of cursive, the horizontal and vertical lines, and the little squigglies. With the TWSBI Eco, I mean, it's just super wet and flowy. This ink has that additive to it. I don't remember what it is. It's a kind of lubricant of some sort that just helps the ink to flow better, and I like that. Anyway, perfect, wonderful, enjoyable writing experience. And then I tried my Lamy Safari with the new nib in it, and I don't know, it's very much more dry, it's narrow. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, my previous understanding was that a 1.1 nib would have a wider line than a broad nib. So I was quite surprised, and I may be misinformed on that. So please comment below, but look at this. So this is the 1.1. So it's a narrow line. There's very little variation. There is some variation with the horizontal compared to the vertical, but not as much as I thought there would be. There is still some shading, but overall the line is much more narrow than I expected, and it felt drier, and it felt maybe slightly scratchier. But then when I put my Lamy Safari broad nib back on, or Lamy broad nib back on the Safari pen, look at the difference. It's wide. You can see a ton of shading. At least I can. I don't know if it's showing up, but I don't know. I'm not sure what the deal is here. Now, when I watched Holy Fire Scribble, she preferred the 1.1 over the TWSBI, if I remember correctly, and saying that they were comparable at least. I don't see these at all comparable. This is a much wider, gushier, thick flow than this. I find this to be on the disappointing side. I just prefer to have the broad nib back on there. I think maybe, I don't know if I was expecting too much. I was wanting to try a different nib experience with my Lamy, and I generally just go to the broader line. So that's why I picked the 1.1 versus trying a medium or a fine nib. I didn't really want that. And also the German-made nibs, to my understanding, are broader than the is it called like a Japanese made nib? Anyway, it's quite a bit different than what I expected. One thing I am wondering, and also I would appreciate any comments below, I bought this nib on Amazon. Could it be not a real Lamy nib? Is it one of those fake ones, even though it says Lamy on it and everything, and it came in a little package? It said it was new. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's an imitation one. So I would like to know if you've had experience with the Lamy nibs in broad in 1.1, what your experience was or is with those, and which do you prefer? Of course, as I've said, the broader line, the thicker line, the heavier flow of ink is my preference, but this was nothing like I expected, and I really like writing with the TWSBI 1.1s. I have like 3 1.1 TWSBI nibs, and this is my first one, and it seems a little scratchier and actually a little narrower than my 2 recent purchases, but it still produces that compared to that. So that is all for now. Just popping in here to say hi. Hope you're having a good holiday, and it's just that time of year. We're all busy, but I wanted to do a little pen experimentation, and that is my result. So please, again, comment below on your thoughts, and we will see you again soon. Thanks for watching.